What's going on, everyone? Shepasaurus here with a new class guide, this time for the Disciple of Khaine. I've got a lot to talk about, so if there's a build or piece of advice you want to skip to, please make sure to use the chapter bookmarks below. We're going to go over gear progression all the way up to Renown rank 60. This is going to include talismans, builds, rotations. But before we get into that, I want to talk about your pocket items you don't want to miss while leveling up. You're going to use these items deep into the end game. The first one is your AP pocket item, which will give you an increase to action point regeneration. Each race has their own quest for it, and I'll be going over how to get the Dark Elf one in this guide. After that, at level 16, everyone on the destruction side will want to make sure you pick up the Spicy Mushroom pocket item for much needed health regeneration. This is from Carrick 8 Peaks, so let's quickly go over how to get those. You just created your Dark Elf, Sorceress, Blackguard, or Witch Elf, right? And you are sitting here in front of the starter boat. You go up here, you take a couple quests, you kill some guards, you kill some dark sprites. Well, we're going to get you the +1 AP item per second very quickly. And just follow me on this one. As you come up to this giant fountain here, destroyed fountain, you'll see a bunch of quest givers here. You could collect the quests and do them for some experience. But we are going to go off here to the right and look for a chest. And it's going to be real easy to find. It's this first building here to the right. You see this glowing aged ornate chest. You're going to click on this, and it's going to give you another quest to go find a box and another coffer. So we're going to accept that. And we're going to turn around, do a 180, and head back in this direction. So we're going to move all the way over to the other side, to the last building. There'll be an opening here. We're going to go through and go down the stairs, and we'll have to kill this first enemy that we come into. Right up here, because he is guarding a chest. So we're going to kill this hall keeper real quick. You can see the chest glowing in the background. Boop. Get it real quick. Oh, I was hoping that would kill him. There we go. So come down here, and you see the glowing chest. You don't even need to touch this other hall keeper. We're just going to click it and take the box. Awesome. Now we have to go back up and find the last chest to loot. It's guarded over here by this tower guard. So we're going to kill this guy real quick. Throw another Doom Bolt. Quick attack here, and he's dead. Nice. So, age plain chest. We're going to loot all. And that is complete. We now must go over here to this Trinity of Evil marker and turn it in and get our AP item. Right back here at the fountain, you see this fancy looking sorceress here. Real fancy. Click on her and turn in Trinity of Evil. And there you go. Dar shards, +1 AP per second. Complete. And then you just equip it. And it goes right here in your pocket item. There you go. As you come here south, you're going to run into this town, Akrana's Storm. And it's where you're going to run into your first Flight Master. So now we're going to go ahead and get your level 15, 16 item, another pocket item here to fill out this slot, which will actually give you 80 health every 4 seconds. So we're going to click on this Flight Master. We're going to go over to Dwarfs vs. Greenskins and fly to Carrick 8 Peaks. It only costs 50 copper. It's real easy. A lot of people are scared of this quest to get your mushroom, but it's really not bad once you've done it once or twice. Here we are, and this place is pretty crazy, but don't let that scare you. We're going to get the mushroom quest by coming up this hallway, down through this big hallway, and then down a couple more hallways. Just follow along. It'll be pretty quick, and with the power of editing, we will move very fast. So in this hall of the Gorkiest and Morkiest, we're going to go up this ramp and take our first right up here, this fire hallway. And we're going to follow it for a little bit, and we're going to take our first left from the hallway. Then we're just going to follow this hallway for a little bit, and probably the sneakiest part here is the left turn we have to take at the bottom. Because unless you're looking for it, you could run right, like you can't even see that there's something there until you actually look down here. We're going to come up to this railway thing here, and we're going to take a right and go through this portal. All right. Now we're down in the 8 Peaks, the Deeps, and we're going to come down here to this area. So we got to go to the bottom and take a left down here. And now we're over here by Mixa Zagrub, and he has the quest. So grab it, and you'll have no idea that you get a mushroom pocket item at the end, but it'll give you a second quest after you finish this Good Eats. So let's accept this, look at the map, and you can see on here, there's a couple places where up here, and then over here in the corner where it's turned red, that's where you're going to try the different stew and brew at each location. So let's start off by going through the Squig Nursery. All right, so we're here at the Squig Nursery, and right in front of us is the brew, the glop, and the squig shanks. So you just click on those, and then we turn around and go back. We're headed up to the Hammer and Hole next. This one can be a little tricksy because it's hiding up here in the corner. If you see the brew and plate of food right here. Ratman Slop. All right, and then on to the next area. We're headed over here to Good Eats. All right, we take a left down here, and this is the trickiest one because it's literally just a mushroom you got to click on. It can be kind of sneaky here. Right here on the right, this cave mushroom stew, and then the brew. And that's it. And now we head back to the mixer. All right, we're back here with the Mixa, and we're going to turn in this quest and get the last part of this quest. So complete, accept, and now we got to try some more food here. So these troll guts and this brew, and that's it. We turn it in, and we get our spicy troll mushroom, 80 hit points every 4 seconds that we can now wear at level 16. And there's a follow-up quest in case you lose this to kill 50 enemy players. You get another one, but it is a unique equip, so you cannot equip 2 of them at once. And there you have it. I hope that helps you guys out. A Disciple of Khaine can play either a backline healer or a dangerous melee fighter, stealing your enemy's strength, initiative, and soul essence with every strike of their blade. Being a class with a varied playstyle, you're going to want to decide how you want to play before making any serious gear investment at endgame, since the stats you shoot for are going to be very different. Docs do use action points for many of the skills, like all classes, but many of our abilities are also tied to our class mechanic called Soul Essence. You can think of Soul Essence as a mana pool, which you must regenerate either by attacking with a blade, channel healing using your action points, or equipping a Chalice. A Chalice is the offhand item used for primarily healer-focused docs, which come with a soul essence generation over time. There are also some tactics which will help regain soul essence, but for the most part, I see them as a crutch. I will recommend it as one of the shield builds that I'll go over, but there are many better tactics you could use if you learn to manage your soul essence properly. All stats are going to soft cap at 1050 once you reach level 40. So any point gains above that soft cap are only going to count for about half as much. As you start getting to your highest tier of gear, you're going to want to watch out for that cap so you can be as efficient as possible with your stat spread. Going through the character screen, the two main stats you're going to be looking at the most is either willpower or strength, depending on the mastery path that you choose. When I say path, I mean your mastery tree. There are 3 mastery trees for each class, and for the doc, you can pick either from the Path of Dark Rites, which is the Chalice healer tree. Your primary stat is going to be willpower, which increases your ability healing and your disrupt chance. The second tree is your Path of Torture, which is your DPS tree. Instead of a Chalice, you'll equip a second sword whose primary... Let me switch over to the Path of Torture here. Your primary stat is strength. And strength increases your ability damage, your auto attack damage, your parry strike through, and your block strike through. So it's very important, especially for shield docs. Aside from strength as a DPS, you're going to really want to focus on melee critical hit chance. Finally, there's the Path of Sacrifice, which turns you into a hybrid DPS healer and has you equipping a shield rather than a sword or chalice. A shield's doc primary stat will also be strength, but the difference here is you do not care so much about critical hit. It won't help your healing as much of just pumping that strength stat as high as you can. Path of Sacrifice is actually my favorite specialization to play, even after the latest nerfs in 2025, so I will likely talk about that mastery the most, but we'll leave that to the end. If you decide you want to be a Chalice healer and go down the Path of Dark Rites, you will be focusing on willpower as your primary stat. It adds a fixed amount of healing to most healing spells. Once you start getting close to your soft cap, you're going to want to look for items with healing power on it, as it's going to give you a greater bonus than willpower to healing once hitting the soft cap. The great thing about healers is their primary stat to help with healing is actually considered a defensive stat. So as you pump this up, this willpower, your disrupt chance will actually go up. Less chance for you to be hit by enemy spells. I also want to mention that although willpower is your primary stat, you should always prioritize critical heal chance if you have a choice. You can go to this stat button, go down, look at magic, and see your healing bonus and your healing critical hit bonus. The reason why you want to prioritize critical chance is willpower only gives a set amount of additional healing to your heal skills, while critical heals is a multiplier of your base heal. So at higher levels, a critical heal will be of much greater benefit than a couple more healing per second. Now, strength, as I said before, is going to be your primary stat for both dual blades and shield docs. Not only will it increase your ability damage, but it also increases your strike through chance, which means if an enemy blocks or parries your attack, you still have a chance to strike through and damage them, which is extremely important for trying to get your abilities to proc their special effects. Aside from those, you're also trying to boost your wound stat. This is obviously going to increase the amount of hit points you have. At an absolute minimum, you want to try and stay at 700 wounds or above. This gives you at least 7,000 life. If you fall too much below that, you're going to need to drop some strength stat to improve your health. A great way to supplement your stats is through the use of talismans, similar to jewels or gems in other games. You can see here I have a superior talisman of the Gladiator, which adds 23 strength. In my shoulders here, I have another one as a strength. You can see I'm really pumping into strength here. Kind of a glass cannon type doc build I'm going for, but if you're looking to get that additional health, you can throw a talisman of perseverance in there instead. You can buy these talismans from the auction house in IC. To sum it up, you should either be getting strength talismans, willpower talismans, or wounds talismans in order to make up the shortcomings on your stats. I have 2 shield builds that both work great depending on which direction you want to lean, either more support focused or more damage focused. But before we get into that, I want to first give you guys a Chalice healer and DPS dock option if that is how you prefer to play. I suggest leveling as a healer, and so I'll talk about the Chalice build first. Starting off, feel free to do a couple of quests and scenario queues by hitting that little flag button next to your minimap and clicking Join All. Once you hit level 2, you can use the free horse in your inventory to move around quicker. Then, as you get to level 5, the War Report button unlocks next to your minimap, and I believe that is the intended time to start leveling primarily by open realm versus realm. You do have a choice, however. The quickest way to level, absolute quickest way, to get to level 40 is going to be by running public quests while queuing up for scenarios. Especially over the weekend. Every weekend is a scenario event from Friday through Sunday, where the scenario will provide you with a bonus 50% experience and renown gain. You just open up your Book of Knowledge, default K button, look down at the bottom left, and there's this gold tab. This will inform you of every event over the past week and current week, so you can be sure to get the rewards. However, I highly suggest you don't do this, as you will only end up at renown rank 35 to 40 when you hit character level 40, which will make things much harder for you in the end game. From character level 1 through 39, you receive a buff that boosts your stats to be on a level playing field with the higher geared characters on your server. It's a way to keep fights relatively even when you're, say, a level 25 going against a level 40. However, that bolster disappears at 40, which means if you hit level 40 at a low renown rank, you are going to have a long climb to level up that renown for bonus defensive stats that are very much needed to survive. So with that said, I recommend solely leveling up in open realm versus realm combat only, ignoring the scenarios in PvE as much as possible. It is slower for the character ranks, but once you hit level 40, in a couple of weeks you're going to be so thankful that you are renown rank 50 or 60. In addition, leveling up in open realm versus realm, you will get PvP bags, which reward you with war crests and Genesis coins. I suggest that you always pick up the Genesis coins while leveling up, at least until you have 45. Once you hit level 40, you get a quest in the mail to go talk to the Genesis vendor to get another free 5 Genesis coins. Having 50 will allow you to instantly buy your level 40 weapon, offhand, and 2 accessories, which will last you quite a long time. As far as gear is concerned, while leveling, you will need to unlock something called wards in the correct order so you can wear the next level of gear. Let me explain quick. You press K, open up your Tome of Knowledge again. If you haven't figured it out yet, the Tome of Knowledge has everything you need in it. It's great. So you press K, you go down here to the Armory tab, black tab with a shield on it, to see your armor sets and wards. Wards can be obtained by the acquisition of armor sets. Well, what does that mean? Each of these wards represents the armor set that you can wear in that tier, and you must unlock the previous ward in order to wear that tier set. Your first ward is the Recruit Ward, which you can buy at one of the T1 war camps. You can fly or war report to the camp. As a healer, you're going to want to buy the Decimator set, which gives willpower and wounds at level 8. You can see here I flew to Nordland. You run over here and find the Decimator vendor. And you could buy these boots, robes. I'm not sure that you actually need the belt. I just think you need 2 pieces. And you can actually check what pieces you need in the Book of Knowledge. So here you can see this is for a healer leveling up. It gives willpower, wounds, as well as on the 2-piece and 3-piece set bonus. You go here, you see the Recruit Ward, you click on second fragment, you need the chest. First fragment, you need the boots, and then you have completed the Recruit Ward, and you can unlock your Scout Ward starting at level 17. The Decimator set will last you until level 17, like I said, when you could wear the next set under the Scout Ward, and I highly recommend that you find a quick group for Sacalum Dungeons in the Inevitable City and run through that. Look here on your map, you see over here on the right, these are the Sacalum Dungeons. There are 3 wings to the dungeon. If we run over there real quick, you're going to find the quest givers right here. All these guys will have quests for you, and then you'll have a repeatable quest here to get Keeper's Carl tokens, which you can use to buy the armor set. All you need to do is type /5 in chat, which is the looking for group channel, and say healer looking for group sack run. It takes about 30 minutes to an hour, and you're going to get your full keeper set, allowing you to save your war tokens for the next set, which starts around level 26. And that comes fairly quickly. If you don't want to do any PvE or dungeons, then you will be wanting to buy the Obliterator set. We look in the Scout Ward, you see here Obliterator set, and you can't go back to the T1 War Camp to buy this. You actually have to run over to all the armor vendors in the Inevitable City, and we'll run over that right now. As you make to the Undercroft, this is where you're going to buy your armor sets from now on. And the Obliterator armor vendor, as well as the Decimator vendor, is here on the left. This Pillage Fasir is your Decimator armor quartermaster, and this Horde Master is your Obliterator armor quartermaster. And as you can see, it's willpower, wounds, parry percentage, toughness, what you need to survive as a healer. And that's only if you don't want to get the Keeper set. After the Keeper set, that'll last you until level 26, where you can either farm for the Mayhem set in tier 3 areas, if you're on your fast track to level 40. But again, my suggestion is to stick to the open realm versus realm lakes and just grind out that renown as much as you can while you're bolstered. In that case, you're going to have plenty of war crests to spend, and I suggest you just go buy the Soldier Ward Healer set with Warcrest, and that's the Devastator armor. Overlord Steelhide here, he carries that. As you can see, it gives willpower, toughness, and critical healing chance. Super important. You could start wearing them at level 25, and it goes all the way up to rank 29, Renown rank 29 requirement. So at Renown rank in level 29, you will be able to wear this full set. The next set, it can be purchased at level 35, and at this point, you really have a choice. If you want to go Shield Doc on the Path of Sacrifice, now is when you could start playing as it. You go ahead and switch masteries here and farm the Ruin set, giving you strength and +1 to Path of Sacrifice mastery. If you want to switch to DPS, you purchase the Mercenary set for now in this same area. I know that Doc AoE is not very good after the latest patch, so you'll have a hard time getting into any organized warband as a new Doc DPS. If you're sticking with Chalice healing, though, for now, go ahead and buy the Annihilator set, which not only gives willpower and critical healing chance, but also gives +1 Path of Dark Rites ability. We'll look here at Annihilator, and you see the 4-piece bonus, +1 Path of Dark Rites ability, and the 5-piece bonus, 5% healing critical chance. Pretty awesome set here to last you until you're able to get your level 40 Red Eye set. Run Gunbad Dungeon as soon as you hit level 40 with your Annihilator set to get the Red Eye PvE set. This level 40 set will last you as a healer until you're able to fully purchase the Vanquisher set at Renown rank 58. You see here reduction in being critically hit, 59 willpower, a big 528 armor bonus, which is huge. You also get Caretaker at 5-piece, which on hit 10% chance to heal your defensive target for another 270 health. And then finally the 6-piece bonus, 5% critical healing chance. You got tons of strength, willpower, wounds on this set. You have plenty of willpower, plenty of wounds on this set. It's really good level 40 healer set until you can get that Vanquisher gear. If you leveled up entirely in the lakes, open realm versus realm, you should be close to going straight into your Vanquisher gear, which is a huge boost. Hopefully you've also been saving up the Genesis coins like I recommended. You can immediately purchase the Genesis Remnant of Curative here, as well as the Aspect of the Curative. You know, both of these together will give you a bonus 37 willpower on top of the healing power, initiative, willpower, and wounds these give you. But you can also get your healer weapon and chalice, or double weapons, or weapon and shield of your choice here. Awesome level 40 items that you can eventually upgrade at Renown rank 66 to a better version, the Fortress. So let's get right on to the Chalice Dock healer build. As far as the starter builds go, for Renown rank, you're going to want to prioritize Feudal Strikes 3 here. This is going to help you reduce the chance you'll be critically hit. And then Spiritual Refinement 2 to increase your healing critical chance. And then finally, fill out the rest of your points into reflexes to gain that parry percent for survivability. And then for gear, starting off at level 40, again, I believe I said before, you're going to want to get your Red Eye set from the Gunbad Dungeon. This gives willpower, wounds, and you're going to want to put... you could stick some plus 11 talismans in there for wounds, but you're going to want wounds talismans in here. Plus 19 is also named Perseverance, so just search that on the auction house and they'll come up. Search by rarity, and you'll see the plus 18, plus 19s. If you are Renown rank 58 or close to 58, and you can go straight into Vanquishers, no, you'll still have to unlock this ward that the Red Eye gives you. But if you go straight into Vanquishers, do that. That's more willpower, more wounds, more survivable traits, and also you get the bonus healing critical chances and some other cool bonuses like Imperative Spirit on casting heal, 20% chance to recover 15 soul essence over 3 seconds. Great for your soul essence generation, because otherwise you could only really do it while you're in melee combat. And then the 6-piece bonus on hit, direct heal, 5% chance to reduce build time by 25%. When someone coming up and they're attacking you, now you can build up your heals. This is okay. It's not so, you don't have so many long casted heals as a doc. It's a lot of channeled abilities and quick casts with cooldowns. But Vanquisher is definitely a step up from Red Eye if you're able to buy that right off. If you go into the auction house and look up Lasting Stanchion Ungent, this is not it. This right here, you get 660 armor for an hour, which is a huge boost to your survivability. If you go to your stats page and look at defense and armor, see I have 55.5% physical damage reduction here. I drink one of these, and let's go look at the stats again. It goes to 3104. I'm up to 70.5% chance, or 70.5% physical damage reduction. So that additional 660 is huge for survivability here. Let's get right into the tactics for the healer. If you go over here and look at your tactics, you're going to want to pick up Discipline right off the bat. Increase your willpower by 160. Bound by Blood. This gives your critical healing increased by 25%, and the soul essence cost of Restore Essence is reduced by 10. Then you're going to want to go over and get Khaine's Vivification. Covenant gives group members within 100 feet of you 20% chance on hit to increase the power of heals used on them by 25%. Free 25% increase to your healing on your group members. Awesome. And then you're also going to pick up Khaine's Bounty from your mastery tree. Anytime your direct heal critically heals an ally, you'll become surrounded by a protective barrier for up to 30 seconds, which will absorb up to 680 damage. And this effect can trigger every 3 seconds. So if you're popping off those critical heals every 3 seconds, you can have an additional 680 health if you're getting targeted, which is nuts. It's absolutely nuts. As far as morales are concerned, as a healer, you'll want to take Divine Favor for your morale 1, as you lack a big single target heal. So this supplements your kit very well. A strong heal that restores 1800 health to your target. As far as M2, you don't really have any spells with long cast times, so you don't need to pick up Focused Mind. This is a pretty good defensive option if you want to. For the next 10 seconds, you'll remove and ignore any rooting, snaring, disarming, silencing, or disabling effects. This is pretty strong. It also reduces your cast time by 50%. I would actually suggest picking up Rampaging Siphon here. Deals 600 damage to all enemies within 25 feet and heals group members within 100 feet for full amount of damage dealt. If you guys just get absolutely surrounded and everyone's low health, this is going to basically full heal your entire team. Very good M2. For M3, I would take Divine Protection. That's going to give you your whole group 4,500 shield. So this, if you don't have an M3 active, you hit your M2. But if your M3 is active, definitely activate the shield, because the shield gives you additional benefits beyond just more health. And then M4 is just going to be your Alter Fate, because in the Mastery tree, we're not going to go all the way up and take that Morale 4 ability. Finally, to the mastery points for the Path of Dark Rites, your healer. Assuming you are Renown rank 50, you can see here I have 1 mastery point available. I'm Renown rank 60, so you get a bonus. You can place that however you want it. You can increase Path of Dark Rites for some more base healing. But you're going to go at least 13 points into Path of Dark Rites, picking up Khaine's Bounty down here. Khaine's Bounty. This is one of the tactics you chose. Then you're going to pick up Soul Energy. Great for single target healing. Over the next 10 seconds, your direct heals will heal their target for an additional 213 health. This effect will not trigger more than once every 1.5 seconds. And you're going to go up. You're also going to take Khaine's Vigor. This is an amazing AoE heal over time. And then a skip, restored motivation and efficient patching. You don't have enough tactic points for that. Then you're going to pick up Khaine's Refreshment. You throw yourself open to Khaine's influence as power rushes through you for up to 3 seconds. Each second, all allies within 25 feet of you will regain 272 health, and you will lose 20 soul essence. This effect will end if you lose your concentration or run out of soul essence to power it with. Your remaining 10 points are going to go into Path of Sacrifice tree. You're going to go up 9 points and then pick Devour Essence. You envelop yourself or an ally in a devouring aura. Up to 4 enemies within 20 feet take 148 damage each second. For 5 seconds, your ally is healed 150% of all damage dealt. This is absolutely fantastic with burst healing a single ally if they're being targeted by a group of people. Your rotation for AoE healing and single target healing is going to be very different. For AoE healing, you're going to want to pop Soul Shielding. Let's go over and look at that. Here's Soul Shielding. And then cast Khaine's Vigor for heal over time on your entire party and begin channeling that Khaine's Refreshment. You will cast Khaine's Embrace if everything is on cooldown and you are still good on Soul Essence. Khaine's Embrace right here. All your group members within 100 feet of you gain 535 health. That's why it's in the AoE rotation. If you are out of Soul Essence, you of course can channel Blood Offering down here to get yourself back into the fight. If you need a single target heal, your rotation is going to be slightly different. You're going to start with casting under Path of Sacrifice this Devour Essence to get the healing going instantly on your target. He's going to be AoE attacking the enemies around him, and it's going to be giving him healing. Then you follow that up with casting Soul Energy on him to boost how much health he gets each time you heal him. Then Restore Essence and Khaine's Invigoration for the heal over times. Be sure to cast Terrifying Vision and Terrifying Aura on cooldown. Here's Terrifying Vision. It's going to keep your enemy distracted if they're attacking you and make them deal 50% less damage to you. Super important. In all situations, be sure to patch wounds. This is going to remove an ally's wound and remove an ailment or hex in case your ally is suffering from something. Don't forget about this. This can be a huge damage mitigation tool. Path of Torture is going to be your DPS build. Your Path of Torture DPS build will be a mix of both the Torture and the Sacrifice tree. Assuming you're at least Renown rank 50, go all the way to the top of the Path of the Torture tree. Taking Murderous Intent increases your chance to critically hit by 10% and your chance to parry by 10%. It reduces your healing output by 20%, but you're not healing, you're DPS, right? Then go up, take Sanguinary Extension. It's going to give you a lot of damage. It's going to give you a way to reduce their movement speed down to 60%. That's huge. Take Racking Agony, which is your execute skill. As soon as the target's below 50% health, you're going to be hitting this instead of your filler spells, which are, Lacerate and Cleave Soul. You're going to take Curse of Khaine. This causes your Lacerate to reduce healing on target by 50%. This is going to help you get those killing blows on the target. It also adds additional damage to Sanguinary Extension. Then Serrated Blades, pick this up. Just like in the Marauder tree, this is a huge armor reduction for 10 seconds. It's a 10-second cooldown. You keep this up 100% of the time. And then we are going to take the rank 4 morale. Now, this is assuming that you are renown rank 50. If you're not renown rank 50, you're only renown rank 40 plus, then you don't have to take this morale rank 4 yet. You won't use it very much. This will just be used for big damage when you're building up on a Lord's Room or something. And we'll go over here, Path of Sacrifice, our last 5 points or 6 points. We're going to go 5 up into this tree to get Pillage Essence. This is your interrupt ability. You can interrupt a heal spell. It'll cause them to lose 50 action points, and you will gain 50 soul essence. It's huge. You need it. Aside from the tactics that you picked up in the Path of Torture, you're going to run Divine Fury, which you deal 25% more damage, but your healing output is reduced by 20%. Again, you don't care about the healing reduction. And you're also going to grab Khaine's Blessing here. Anytime you critically hit an enemy, your auto attack speed is increased by 50% for 10 seconds. Every time you crit is nuts. You're going to be critting a lot because you're going to boost that critical strike chance from your gear. For your renown points, you are going to max out reflexes, get that chance to parry up to a total of 18% additional. Then you're going to go to Futile Strikes 3, got to reduce that critical damage, and any remaining points you have, you'll put into Might to increase your strength. That's going to allow you to do Strike Through on parries and defends, and just increase your damage, your base damage overall. Your rotation should look something about like this. So you start the fight using Serrated Blades to reduce their armor, and then Lacerate for the toughness debuff and the healing debuff from your tactic. This is going to give you about 8 seconds left for a burst window on your target. Cast Drowning in Blood and apply Sanctuary Extension. Then you cleave Soul, preferably from behind. You're going to want to refresh Drowning in Blood and then cast another Cleave Soul, and hopefully you can finish them off with your last attack of Racking Agony. At this point, you know, if your target isn't dead, you're going to have to make a decision here. The Drowning in Blood significantly reduces your soul essence pool, and you're in melee combat for a long time. You kind of want to hop in and out as a DPS doc. If they have a good significant amount of health left, it would be a good idea to disengage or swap targets. That's because either you're taunted and the tank is guarding the enemy, or the single target heals are just too strong. If you can't disengage, you're definitely in trouble. Start your rotation over again and hope you're guarded and getting lots of heals as well. Because again, you're a very squishy single target DPS relying on max parry to have any survivability in the melee. As far as gear is concerned for the DPS doc, if you level up by open Realm vs. Realm only, you should be very close to renown ranks 55 to 58 and just go straight for that Oppressor set and fill it with enough wounds talismans to reach at least 700 wounds, which gives you 7,000 health. That's without a wounds pot. Then the rest of it, just strength talismans. However, if you're not close to those renowned ranks at 40, go through the full dungeon grind to rock 6 pieces of Bloodlord and 2-piece Sentinel. I can bring that up right here. Bloodlord is going to give you wounds, strength, and lots of procs to increase your critical rate hit chance, reduce target's toughness, and increase your weapon skill. Very good. You won't get the 7-piece bonus because you're going to have a 2-piece set for your Sentinel, because you'll want to be running your Sentinel Blood Chain, because you could put an additional % crit talisman in here. With that, I go with Sentinel Head for the 2-piece. This will give you additional 58 strength. The Sentinel Head I'm going with is 2% block. This doesn't really help you as a DPS doc. You can instead maybe use your Sentinel Belt and keep the Bloodlord helmet. It's up to you. This is more a setup for the shield doc, which I am. Although I have 2 weapons here, you can see I have equipped a shield, so I am a shield doc. The Sentinel pieces drop from Battlerot Burrows, also called BB, and the Bloodlord armor drops from the highest tier PvE dungeon, Bastion Stairs. Path of Sacrifice, the shield hybrid build. The shield dock is my absolute favorite mastery tree to play as, even more so than my witch elf. The unfortunate thing is we did recently get hit by the nerf bat, but I'm still finding a lot of fun. I'll bet a little bit more challenging than before. A couple things to note about the shield dock. 3 things to note. 1, you're no longer a dedicated healer, and you actually should take up a DPS slot in an organized warband. You're a true hybrid. You're going to be about middle of the pack for damage and healing. You can only effectively heal your own team and only as long as they're close by when in melee range. But as long as you're staying close and working as a team, you're a huge benefit to a small-scale party. Small-scale combat is where the shield dock shines. And then number 3, this is the most important note and probably the number 1 reason you can survive the first 15 seconds of an encounter. Throw a second sword in your inventory. Open up my inventory. I have this Edge of Light. And then go over here, click this appearance button. You see I have a shield on? Well, I put my Edge of Light here in the appearance, and it changes my shield to actually look like a second sword. And bam, you now look like a dual-wield non-healer Disciple of Khaine, and 90% of organized groups will ignore you on first contact, not realizing you're actually providing huge heals to your team. You're welcome. This is how you survive by pretending you're something you're not. I've actually got 2 builds of the shield dock to talk about. Both versions use the same gear, so let's get that out of the way first. I'm going to be a little bit more specific about gear here than I was previously. I consider this pretty close to your pre-best in slot gear before Sovereign as a hybrid build. I kind of showed a little bit before. I'm using 6-piece Bloodlord Pain Mantle with as much strength as possible. You can see my wounds here is 692. I'm almost at 7,000, just below, with a wounds pot. That's going to bring me well up to about 7,500. That's fine. I'm playing a little bit squishy, but because I'm pretending I'm a DPS and running in, they don't target me first, so I can deal with it. And usually I have a tank guarding me. So mostly it's strength. Talisman's in here. Talisman's of the Gladiator, and I'm using that Sentinel Gorget Helm for additional 2% block with the Sentinel Blood Chain, and I would have the 6% block Talisman in here. For my jewelry here, Rough Gun Bad Diamond adds 28 wounds, 12 toughness, 2% block, absolutely critical to boost your block as high as possible. And then the Genesis stuff, Genesis aspect of the warrior, the one with 24 initiative and 36 melee power, along with 24 strength and 24 wounds, with the 37 strength 2-piece bonus. That's just a bunch of extra damage, and you gain healing the more damage you do. We already talked about the Sentinel Chain, and then here I'm using the Blood Ward of the Subjugator for additional 2% block. The shields for the docks don't give a passive chance to block. You see down here, your attacks have an 8% reduced chance to be defended against. If you actually have a tank, a Black Orc or something, their shields, instead of saying this, they'll say you have an 8% reduced chance to, or you have an 8% chance to block. Right, this is more of an offensive shield, but it does have that barrier X, so 3% chance when you're hit to get a barrier on yourself every 5 seconds. That's pretty good when you're being targeted. And then Pain Blade of the Subjugator. I'm going to upgrade both of these to the Fortress weapon as soon as I hit Renown rank 66. And then I have my AP item, which we went over at the beginning, and my Spicy Troll Mushroom, which was at the beginning of this video. And that's pretty much it for gear here. I will run a armor pot most of the time, and although I said sometimes I'll use a wound pot if I need the survivability, I'll also run a strength pot, so additional 72 strength just to get that extra oomph. I don't recommend running the Bloodlord Pain Blade just because that reduction in toughness and armor by 10% is killer. Absolutely killer. You will feel that, and the boost to your healing isn't going to be enough to offset that. I'd rather you be alive and healing a little bit less than dead and not healing at all. For Renown, you're going to want to max out Defender as the first thing you do, increasing your total block chance by 10%. Percent block is hands down the best defensive stat in the game if you're using a shield. After that, I suggest pumping up Futile Strikes to 3, 15% reduction in the chance to receive critical damage, and then the rest into Depth Defender at 60. It works out perfectly with your points. You'll get Depth Defender 3 with those last 6 points. If you do need the additional strength, you can also put it into Might, but typically I'm looking for ways to get defense by Renown and then supplement my damage and strength through my gear options. And as I said, 2 variations. We're going to go over the more support shield dock first. You're really going to double down on this build on healing and supporting your team rather than contributing to damage and kills. You're going to want to go 13 points up into the Path of Sacrifice tree, picking up Gift of Khaine. So Khaine's Force now additionally heals all group members within 100 feet for 116 over 3 seconds. This is great. This works into your rotation pretty well because you'll hit Gift of Khaine once every 3 global cooldowns, so you could regain the cost of Gift of Khaine. So it costs 80 soul essence, and you'll gain 30 soul essence or 40 soul essence, depending on which either transfer essence or consume essence, whichever filler you're hitting with here. You will take Devour Essence. This is great for self-survivability as well as single target healing. You'll take Empowered Transfer going up. This is going to increase the base heal of Transfer Essence, Consume Essence, Khaine's Force, and Khaine's Encouragement, all by 50%, and increase the life tap healing from Ren's Soul by quite a bit. So Ren's Soul is your burst healing, single target healing option as a shield dock. You repeatedly assault an enemy, shredding their soul energy and twisting it to your own purposes. So you're going to strike the target up to 4 times over 3 seconds, dealing 309 spirit damage each time, which is amazing because spirit damage is one of the least resisted types of damage in the game. And then each hit was going to heal your defensive target for 350% of the damage that was dealt. Nuts. Absolutely nuts for a burst heal there. It's on an 8-second cooldown, though, and costs quite a bit of soul essence, so you can't just spam it. And finally, Khaine's Encouragement. We're taking this because of the second part of this ability. Its attack is going to buff your next casted healing ability by 35% for 15 seconds. And we'll go over the rest of the Master Tree, then I'll kind of give you a rotation here of how you use this. You're going to come up 9 points into the Path of Dark Rites with your last few points and grab Khaine's Vigor. All group mates within 100 feet of you gradually regain 705 health over 9 seconds. So what you're going to want to do as a healer, your goal is going to be to land a Khaine's Encouragement on your target to then buff this AoE heal by 35% and drop it every 10 seconds. Both Khaine's Encouragement and Khaine's Vigor are on a 10-second cooldown, so you should have this up almost 100% of the time. On engagement, the first attack you should be using is this Warding Strike in order to gain that additional 10% block chance. Keep this buff up 100% of the time, or you will die quickly when focused. Also be sure to cast Consume Essence and maintain that plus 80 strength bonus to yourself in order to boost your own strike through and damage, which also contributes to your healing. Aside from that, you're going to focus on pre-hotting your group, casting Soul Shielding every 60 seconds. This, every group mate within 100 feet becomes surrounded by a magical barrier for 10 seconds, which will also absorb up to 1,007 damage for each person, which is a third or a fourth of this divine protection, right? So every 40 seconds, you get a fourth of a M3 morale to use for free. It's great. After shielding your party from damage, you're going to be pumping out Khaine's Force every 4th global cooldown. It costs 80 soul essence, but with your tactic, it's not only going to give a big heal, it's going to also give a heal over time. So you don't want to be trying to spam this because you're going to be overriding that heal over time. So in between, you're trying to heal your group, cast this Transfer Essence, which is unblockable with the tactics you're going to take. So aside from the tactics we picked up here in the Path of Sacrifice, the Gift of Khaine, and Power Transfer, both pretty essential. You're going to also take this Transfer Focus. Consume Essence and Transfer Essence are now undefendable. That's absolutely crazy. You're never going to be defended against. So this Transfer Essence, you're panicking. You're up against a shielded tank that's just defending everything. Just use Transfer Essence so you can be sure you get that heal out on your team. Your final tactic with this build is going to be flexible. However, I recommend fueled actions. Here, whenever you are hit by an enemy, you have a 25% chance to gain 35 soul essence. You can get very soul essence hungry with the support build because you're casting a lot more heals with this Khaine's Vigor. You're going to be casting some soul infusion. You're going to be casting some restore essence to keep hots up. You're going to be burning through a lot of your soul essence, and this is a build that really makes good use of that fueled actions tactic. The second variation of my shield healer build is more damage focused, but you're also a lot more selfish. You're going to go all 15 points into the Path of Sacrifice tree. You're going to skip some of the previous tactics that you took, though. So you're going to take Devour Essence, of course. This is huge survivability, especially for yourself if you get targeted. And Power Transfer, this is absolutely a must if you're any type of shield healing doc. You have to have Empowered Transfer. And then we're going to skip Khaine's Encouragement and go right to Chant of Pain. If you're Renown rank 60, you'll be able to do this build that I have up here. If you're Renown rank 40, you should still be able to do it. You're just going to be missing these couple extra spots over here in Path of Torture. This Chant of Pain will be really good for Lord pushes. You're all pushing into a room. Pop this for a quick burst heal on your group. It's pretty great. So finally, we put the rest of the points here into Path of Torture, grabbing Murderous Intent, which increases our chance to parry, which is what we care about the most. It does increase your chance to crit, but honestly, I haven't really seen a big difference in the heals I'm putting out by my crits, but you'll do some more damage. And then Sanguinary Extension. This is great for your team. A big 60% speed reduction when you hit an enemy from behind. You know, that combined with your Covenant of Celerity, you're going to become great at catching fleeing enemies. A good tactic I like to use is to cast Fist of Khaine down here on a fleeing enemy. You call forth the Wrath of Khaine, dealing 297 spirit damage to your target. The good thing about this is you can cast it while moving, while chasing a target, and it can also proc your Covenant of Celerity here, which reduces your victim's run speed by 20%. You can slow down the enemy enough to put this big 60% slow on them and allow the rest of your group to catch up and slay the target. As I said before, you know, your rotation is going to be a bit more selfish here. You're going to throw out group heals by combat when necessary with the Khaine's Force and the Transfer Essence. But you're going to be really focused on just pre-engaging with pre-hots and soul shielding and then doing your attacks, right? Your first attack should again be Warning Strike for the additional 10% chance to block and consume strength to boost your strength. When your party doesn't need healing, you'll be spamming Consume Essence, which does a lot more damage and heals for a lot more. You'll typically be targeted quite a bit, and this is going to keep you up since tanks normally don't shield healer docs at all. Now, if you're not being targeted, but your party is, then yet spam Khaine's Force as much as you want. You don't have to worry about overriding it with that heal over time tactic, and then, you know, fill back up your soul essence with some Transfer Essence. This Khaine's Force becomes something you could really spam here because you don't really use soul essence on anything else. Now, again, for tactics here, we're using the ones we picked up in the Mastery Tree. Your Empowered Transfer to make your heals actually heal. Transferred Focus to make your Consume Essence and Transfer Essence undefendable. This, you get such amazing damage and healing out of these two skills for the sole reason that they're undefendable. It's more worth it to use these than any other skill in the Torture Tree for damage. Then you're going to use Murderous Intent. Of course, we talked about that more parry chance, more survivability, and then Divine Fury, increasing your damage by 25%. I found it's the best additional tactic to throw in there. Not really any of these flexible. I would run this setup. The gear for this version of Shield Dock is the same gear that we went over for the support Shield Dock. Trying to boost that strength, trying to gain that block as high as possible with the Sentinel Helm, and of course putting the Shield Talisman into your Sentinel Bloodchain. All right, guys, that's most of what I wanted to talk about regarding my Disciple of Khaine guide. If you have any questions, please feel free to put it in the comments below. If this guide helped you out, please also like the video. It helps me grow as a small channel. We just hit 1,000 subscribers, so thank you so much, everybody, for the support. And if you like the channel and want to see more videos from me, don't forget to subscribe as well if you're not already subscribed. Have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you in game.